one of the three men who have never have died in the Bible. Enoch, a man destined for greatness and divine encounters. And this video is the complete timeline of his life and all his achievements. And I hope you all enjoy because I spent a lot of time on this video. Yes, we even have a graph of his lifetime, all his achievements, and when he did them, just so you guys understand a little bit better than before. So I'm going to explain a few just so you guys know what's going to happen. We have his birth. We have his first encounter with God. We have the Nephilim. We have his revelations when he understands the creation of creation. He goes into celestial planes. We have when he's preaching. We have when he ascended to heaven at 365 years old. He didn't die, he ascended. And we have his book and legacy. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Real quick, guys, these videos take me forever to make. And if you want to support me so I can keep making these videos, I have a Patreon link in the bio. So if you guys want to support me so I can keep making these, just click on that link. I appreciate you guys. Now back to the video. So now we're going to start at the start, which is the origin, which is his birth. At 3350 BC, he was born. So when Enoch was born, the world was completely surrounded by darkness. There was giant Nephilims walking the land, and I'll explain what Nephilim are later in the video, so just stay tuned. But it was full of sin and moral decay, and when Enoch was born, he was basically a glimmer of light in this dark world. Enoch was born to a humble family in a very, very small town. And ever since he was born, he was given the traits of purity and faithfulness to God, and throughout his whole life, he's going to hold those traits close to him. And in one of the most sinful time periods of this earth is one of the most holy people ever born. It's just funny to see out of complete darkness, God can make complete good out of bad scenarios. There's not much else recorded about his birth, but what else can you add rather than he was born and he was born holy, I guess. And next we have his early life, and there's no exact time period of when this was. I'm not sure if he was 50, if he was 30, 20, 10, but his early life is pretty close to when he was born. Now his early life, and within his early life, Enoch witnessed just how horrifying and awful the world was around him. Because I can't say this enough, there is giant Nephilim walking the land. I don't even know how big Nephilim are, and I don't know if you do either, but David and Goliath, remember Goliath? Goliath was a giant. He wasn't a Nephilim, he was a giant. So Nephilim has to be 8 times bigger than, I don't know, they must have been huge. And even all this moral decay and all this sin, Enoch stands firm in the sight of God. Yes, sir. And from a young age, Enoch displayed his blessing of wisdom. And I don't mean he was like smart, quick with jokes or witty. He was wise. He was so wise that he would even have debates with the elders in his town. And most times, he would win. He just absorbed every bit of knowledge that he could receive because he wanted to understand the world around him and beyond that. He was really into the celestial realm and the godly realm. And because there's so much evil around in this world, there's only one place he can escape to, and that's nature. Nature becomes his sanctuary. It's quiet, it's private, and that's where he can connect most with God. And when he's out there, he prays. And I don't mean prays before dinner, thank you for this food. No, he prays for hours upon hours. Imagine sitting down and praying for hours. Hats off to the man. And because his spirit was so righteous, he advocated against evil, which is crazy. He stood up for the oppressed. He made sure what was righteous and what was not, which was crazy during this time period because you're not just going against some average Joe. You're going up against a Nephilim, which is terrifying. This man has balls. And even at a young age, he would still stand up for the unjust and advocate for what was wrong. And this man really was sent from God. And even after all of this, he still wants a deeper connection with the divine, with the different realms, with his own realm. So he spends more hours in nature praying, obviously. Because of his wisdom and his righteousness, it inspires other people that wanted to seek God but didn't know how. And for me, this is like pretty nice to know that other people during this time period were hungry for God. Because before I did this research, I thought Enoch was the only righteous person, basically like the days of Noah, but I'll talk about that later. But it's just nice to know that other people were hungry, they were thirsty to find the Lord. It just makes me feel a little bit better for Enoch in this scenario. And because of his resistance from sin, people look up to him as a leader, and not only as a rabbi or a teacher, as a leader. And even though his early years and his birth may be lost in time, his legacy is still talked today, and he's still looked up to as a leader, as we're doing it right now, watching this video right now. Like, he is still a glimmer of hope today. Like, in one of the most darkest time periods, a righteous man was born. In 5,000 years in the future, we still look back and say, man, that man was righteous. That's crazy to me. That's just crazy to me. I don't know about you, but for me, that's crazy. And that leads to our next page: encounters with God in the celestial realm. And now it's getting exciting, because now we have his first encounter with God in the year 3250 BC, which means this man was 100. This man was 100 when he started his conquest for God. People that are 100 now are either calling it quits or have already quit. This man is just starting. It's incredible. He finally got to experience that celestial realm and encounter with God, because that's what he's been praying for in all these woods for hours upon hours, days upon days, years against years. Because this man lived a long time, like 365 years to be exact. So when Enoch was 65, he wanted an even deeper connection with God in the celestial realm. So what did he do? Did he go hunting? Did he go fishing? No, he wanted to go pray in the woods, obviously. And as he's praying, he's overwhelmed with this realm of darkness. Then all of a sudden, a bright, shining, powerful light shines on him. And it's God speaking to him directly. It's not through an angel or through a vision. It's God directly. And that's just incredible. I guess all that praying finally worked off. And the voice of God is calling Enoch for a sacred mission and wants to show him beyond his own realm. And through this, God shows him hidden realms that no one else have seen before but Enoch. I don't know what to say. And what this means is that God wants to give a tour of all of these celestial, these hidden realms to Enoch. But God's not going to do the tour himself. He's going to send a few angels to do them. But God did speak to him directly, though, so get that clear. So God sent a few angels. They took Enoch to explore the hidden realms and the celestial realms, and they show him the secrets of creation. Okay, God trusts this man to know the secrets of creation. God has so much trust and faith in Enoch that he'll understand and read what's happening in this creation of the universe. I don't even understand how clouds work. Like, why are they flat in the bottom when the tops are fluffy? And why are there different clouds heights? And I don't know. Then God shows them heaven. Not just one heaven, heavens, including that there's more than one. Then God shows him how the creation of the cosmos were made and how they work. And because of all of this, he gains the wisdom of the universe. So Enoch has the wisdom of the universe and how the cosmos were made. He has seen the heavens. He has seen the depths. He has seen everything. Does that make King Solomon still the wisest man alive? I just thought about that, because the Book of Enoch is technically not in the Bible. So that makes King Solomon the wisest man in the Bible. But let's say if Enoch was included in the Bible, I would say Enoch would be eightfold more wiser than Solomon, because I don't think Solomon understands how the cosmos were born in the creation in the heavens and how they work, right? I don't believe that. Anyways, sorry, I love Bible talk. Next thing. I thought I was done talking about all the knowledge he gained, but no, look at my script. There's a lot more. So then God shows Enoch the birth of the earth in the knowledge within all of that and how that works. And then he shows arts and sciences and ancient civilizations and the lost technologies within that. So Enoch literally knows everything. So I don't think Solomon can wise up over Enoch, in my opinion. I would like to see them in a little math off. And obviously, all these revelations give him the equipment to show and teach the people in the right direction. I would hope. If he gained the wisdom of the universe and God, I hope he'll be able to teach the people the right way. But the visions are not done. Every time I think they're done, I look at my script and there's more. Like, I wish God would show me something. I don't want to see the universe. I think I would explode. I think my brain would explode. Just show me the sun. You know, that'd be cool. No? But then Enoch receives an awful, chilling vision, and that's the fallen angels. He sees how these fallen angels have corrupted humanity, either creating sin, war, famine, or Nephilim. And then he sees their judgment waiting for them. So that means Enoch sees the future and the past, because the future judgment is when God comes back, right? And then when the angels fell from heaven was before he was born, which means he sees past, present, future. This man, what else can I say other than it's Enoch? Whatever Enoch saw must have shook him to his core, because he needed to spread the gospel. I don't know what scared him most. I don't know if it was the judgment of the fallen angels or how the angels fell from heaven. But whatever it was super disturbing for him, and he had to spread the gospel so other people wouldn't have to be judged like those fallen angels. And then he witnessed mankind in their punishment for their sins. So I guess that's my answer. I guess that's why I need to spread the gospel. And I guess that's why I freaked him out. Just because he saw mankind being judged. God shows Enoch one more vision before he goes, and that's the future of mankind. And that's not the judgment of their sins, that's the rise and fall of different civilizations and their advancements in technologies. God trusts this man with the future of humanity. And why is he not in the Bible? Because I don't understand why he's not in the Bible. This man understands the cosmos and the earth and everything around it. Why is he in the Bible? I don't know. And as God was leaving, he told Enoch, JK, here's one more vision. And that vision is the judgment day in the new creation of the heavens and earth. Yeah! He saw judgment day in the creation of the new earth, the heavens. Because after Judgment Day, Jesus said he's going to destroy heaven and earth and create one overall. A new heaven and a new earth. I don't know. I wrote the script and I was just writing it as I was researching, but saying it out loud, this is crazy. This man literally seen Judgment Day, and no words. And during this judgment, he saw the righteous receiving their reward and then the wicked receiving their punishment. And that must be very hard to watch, to see someone, they were a good person but just not a godly person, not a disciple. And I feel like it'll be hard to see them receive their punishment. I don't want to imagine it. So sorry, Enoch, for seeing that. And the sight of this makes Enoch horrified and disgusted, because he sees the wicked receive their punishment in hell. Not only in heaven, because there's no punishment in heaven, they're sent to hell, and that's where he's watching the punishment from. And what Enoch experienced wasn't a dream, and it wasn't some figment of imagination. It was completely real. This man saw heaven, the earth, and hell all at the same time, and he understood it. Enoch became a conduit of God's wisdom to his people. God spoke to Enoch directly, and Enoch spoke to the people so they can understand it. Because of Enoch's wisdom, he was able to understand what God was saying to him, so he was able to spread the gospel to the people. Now it's time for the Nephilim. And next we have the Nephilim. And I drew a little guy there. He's like, I'm a Nephilim. And I understand the Nephilim were there before he was born, but it makes sense to put it on this graph, because this is when he started to fight against their sin and start preaching the ways to people away from the sin. So according to the Book of Enoch, Nephilim were the offsprings of fallen angels having babies with human ladies. And when these human ladies gave birth, they didn't just die. Let's just say they made a bad choice hooking up with a fallen angel. They didn't just die in the flesh, they died spiritually as well. That's a better way to put it. Nephilim were this mix of divine angels and mortal human. And this mix created a monster called the Nephilim, and they were gigantic. And the most famous Nephilim guy was named Nimrod, which is not as common as it used to be. It's a term when people call you stupid. You know, you stupid Nimrod. I guess Nimrod was a stupid Nephilim. I don't know, but he was one of the strongest Nephilim, so stupid equals strong. So the corruption of Nephilim on earth leads to the corruption of mankind on the earth, which is why in the future God sent the flood to Noah, but he built the ark. That's later. They had immense power, they had immense knowledge, they were glorifying themselves. These people would worship the Nephilim. I mean, if you see this giant, huge, knowledgeable thing, you're going to think that's some type of god. So they built cities around these Nephilim. And these Nephilim were the pillars of the war. They went to war against each other. And these Nephilim fought against each other while the humans fought against each other. It's a crazy concept that I would love to see in a movie form. Because of all these monsters and all these war, God decided that's enough. He said he looked at mankind and felt sorrow. So he decided to cleanse the earth with a big flood, excluding one family and two of every animal. Noah, if you don't know what I'm talking about. The fathers of these Nephilim, the fallen angels, are imprisoned in the lowest parts of earth until judgment days to come. And by the way, quick random note, Enoch was not alive by the time the flood was coming. And when I mean not alive, I mean he was ascended to heaven. But the concept of Nephilim still has a major impact today. It's where all these giants come from. The giants, all that mythology comes from the Nephilim stories. You know, it's found its way into movies, books, stories, mythology, even other religions, you know. And I really wish there was more recorded about these Nephilim. It's just such a crazy, interesting concept to me. I would love to see a picture drawn of them, just even more description of what they looked like physically, and not only just how tall they were and how strong and knowledgeable they were. And if there are any short film directors watching, I would love to see a film about Nephilim going to wars against each other while their armies are fighting each other at the same time. Basically like Avengers Endgame, but even better. You know, because it's a story in the Bible. Or not in the Bible. I think it should be in the Bible, but another time. Next chapter, can you guess what it is? And now in the year 3100 BC is when he has the revelations and visions from God, when he explained the creation of the universe, the celestial plane, the cosmos. This man has got it all. And also, all these time periods are approximately. They're not exact. Like it doesn't go by like 100 years. The only year that's exact is his ascension. Visions and revelations, even more. Yes, even more. Shockingly, Enoch has more visions. Enoch feels like he has a calling to him, and I wouldn't say it's a feeling. I feel like it's more of a do it, because God actually talked to him directly and showed him the world. So it's not really much a feeling of a calling. It's a calling. Do it. He's telling him. But a calling to share what he has, share his wisdom, gain more followers to God. And obviously, because he's a bright light in his dark world, people are going to notice him. Good and bad people. Just throwing it out there. And eventually Enoch builds a big community around him that learns from Enoch's wisdom, and they spread his word. So when he's about 110 years old, he establishes a sacred place for him for when he's gonna talk to God. He made it basically like a circle, and in this circle of learning, he learns the concept of the creation and even more descriptive about the cosmos. And I don't even know what the creation of creation means. Even trying to think about that word just hurts my brain. The man that never can get enough knowledge has finally been quenched. So at this point, I'm thinking Enoch knows all. I'm guessing all that he's aware of, because I'm sure God knows more than him, but I feel like Enoch is not aware that he doesn't know anything. You know what I'm saying? So Enoch is quenched from this thirst of knowledge. So God finally gives him the last drip of the bottle. And Enoch is fulfilled to the top of knowledge and wisdom. And he just shares it with his disciples of the whole world to spread and share, to hopefully turn them away from sin. Because Enoch finally finished God's school and got his degree in the cosmos, he decided to go outside his circle and spread his word even more than before. This man was born for God. This man is righteous, he's pure, and he's faithful. He's got it all. Because Enoch started to preach outside his circle of disciples, his words spread far and wide and throughout the land. And during this time, he comes back to his disciples and challenges them to start critically thinking and ask their tough questions to God so they can start understanding the true wisdom of creation. And challenging yourself makes you grow closer to God and also make your spiritual growth exponential. Now Enoch is finally realizing that he needs to start documenting this stuff down. This man has the wisdom of God, but he wasn't wise enough to write it down. I don't mean to be mean. My opinion, I'm just critically thinking. That's all I'm doing, Enoch. You know, if I was Enoch and I experienced hell in heaven, I'll be in that little tablet writing down who I saw and why. You know what I'm saying? whatever. And now Enoch started to write his teaching and his preaches down on the tablets, and eventually it moved on to scrolls, and then from scrolls to books, and here we are today still talking about it. And Enoch's teaching still influenced people today. Like right now is a great example. I'm recording a video about Enoch. You're watching a video about Enoch. That's a great example of how he influenced us today. Enoch has been getting busy because at the same time, Enoch's basically had a whole family. And his whole family was just as righteous as him in the 3100 BC range. Let's skip back on the timeline because he was actually married when he was 65. And that's around when he started getting his first revelations from God. His first encounters with God in the celestial realm. Good thing he didn't miss his wedding because he was in a celestial realm or something. So Enoch enters a sacred union or a little church, and in comes this beautiful woman, Edna. And it's history from there. Enoch and Edna fall in love. K-I-S-S-I-N-G. And then during this time, they had their first son, Methuselah. And they had no idea how much impact Methuselah would have in their future. And then Enoch and Edna started to have more children. And every child they have carried his spiritual legacy and his wisdom. So each child was just as wise and smart as him and just as righteous as he was. When Enoch was 200 years old, his first son, Methuselah, started to have his own revelations himself. Really started to get connected with God on a personal level. And he even started to teach and have his own disciples. And each child they had grew up with God and started preaching and teaching, but none were as wise and spiritually connected as Enoch. And throughout their family tree, guess who pops up? Noah. Yeah, Noah the Ark guy. And just like his family members, Noah has revelations and vision. But these aren't happy and wisdom visions. These are catastrophic, the earth being flooded and completely wiped out. Noah becomes super close with God, a spiritual level, they're talking every day. And then God tells Noah to start spreading the word to repent. That's a completely different story. I'm not going to talk about Noah right now. This is about Enoch. If you want me to talk about Noah, just comment down below. I'll make a video about Noah. Long story short, Noah was a holy man as well. Enoch's family stood as a stronghold, showing that a whole family can be righteous and holy if you really want to be. If you're really hungry for God, then you're going to find God. It's not only luck. So people just can't say, oh, look at Enoch, he was a holy man, but his family's not as holy. He was just lucky, he was just born holy. No, their whole family just puts the effort in. The whole family they're hungry for God. So they're going to be close to God. And again, Enoch spent hours and hours a day praying. So I would hope he would be really holy and righteous if he spent hours and hours a day. Now at the year 3017 BC is when Enoch ascended to heaven at the age of 365. And I drew a little cloud here, like the ascension, like to heaven. How do you draw heaven? Now it's time for Enoch's book to close. Now it's the ascension to heaven. One day when Enoch was 365 years old, he again wanted more wisdom. Out of nowhere, he just wanted more wisdom. He felt like he could learn more, and God had a special plan for him. As Enoch is on his daily walk talking to God, a bright light appears in the sky, and angels descend from the heavens and surround him. I don't know why I act surprised. This whole book is crazy. As the angels surrounded Enoch, he realized that he was able to see heaven like he has never seen it before. It was another vision. But then he realized it wasn't a vision. His eyes opened to heavenly eyes. That's what the book says. That's what the book says. He was then able to access God's own treasure, his splendor, and all his love. He witnessed the beauty and harmony of all these celestial realms at once like he has never seen before. I can't even imagine what space looks like. And then this guy imagines different celestial realms, and he was able to understand it. But now all the realms are together at once, and it's Book of Enoch. What can I say? God says to Enoch, divine decree, meaning that Enoch's walk on this earth is done. Done. Zero. But that doesn't mean death. That means ascension. I wish I could go like this. I want to go to heaven, but I don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to go to heaven ASAP. I want to be there right now, but I don't want to die. As God says this, Enoch chooses to walk in the heavenly planes instead of the earthly planes. And as he says this, he leaves mortal plane into the heavenly plane. See, I don't know who would choose to walk the mortal plane, though. Like, I would rather be born an angel and always walk the heavenly plane. But as he declared he wanted to walk the heavenly realm, the angels touch him and lift him up to heaven. that would be such a fun way to go. Man, imagine people think eaten by sharks a fun way to go. No, 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 no. The best way to go is ascension by angels. As he passes the clouds, his mortal existence fades and he becomes a celestial being. Enoch enters the heavenly realm. He's surrounded with peace and serenity, and he becomes a messenger for God almost. So God was basically testing Enoch for all of those 365 years he was on the earth. And Enoch passed. Enoch passed the school of God and got his degree in celestial beings. So then God allowed him to be the messenger of God, since he earned that. Since he really did earn that. Of all his work he put on heaven, God said, "You earn this, my righteous follower." So what this means, as the messenger for God, he's entrusted with the messages for God. If you don't know what that means, then his role is to deliver messages from God to humanity. So he's God's messenger. I said this like 800 times. If you don't know what that means, then just I can't help you. That's just dumb. Not much is said about what his family reacted to when he randomly disappeared and no body was found. I'm not sure if anybody saw it. I'm not sure if anybody felt it, or if Angel came down and told his family what happened. But we do know that his mortal presence is gone and he's now a celestial being working right now. He's putting in the work in right now. So now you guys are seeing these dotted lines and you're probably thinking, I can't see those dotted lines because your whiteboard's too small. But the dotted lines mean after his ascension to heaven. So late in the year 2900s or the 3000s, that range, after his ascension, is when the Book of Enoch was starting to be written. Now we're moving on to the Book of Enoch. And Enoch did write down some of his speeches and his lessons he did on earth, but now we're starting to get to the person who wrote about his family life, his birth, the childbirth, the Nephilim. And Enoch is gone, but his book is complete. And no, he did not finish it while he was heaven. So who really wrote the Book of Enoch? Like who wrote his birth, the Nephilim, his early life? Who wrote that? We don't know. It's unknown. There's a huge probability that many authors wrote it within hundreds of years of each other, that God revealed visions to them to write down so that Book of Enoch could be completed. And at the right top corner is his legacy. That's current day. Now moving on to his legacy in more modern day and what we think of him now. In ancient history, few figures have left such an influential impact on humanity like Enoch did. Enoch was one of the 3 men who have never died. He was so righteous that God took him up to heaven while he was still alive. Because of this, God sets a stage for us to read. We're captivated by this, learning his life and how righteous he really was. And throughout all this reading, it influences us to get away from sin and be more righteous and close to God. Enoch was blessed with visions and revelations that opened his eyes to the world around him, and that was his basis, that was the foundation of his preaches, to critical think on the right path to righteousness. And because of this, he gathered a small group of disciples, and they learned from him and all his wisdom and his righteousness, and then they spread out their teachings, and people learned from them, and they spread their It's just a long, impassing impact Enoch had. Let's not even include his family. His family were the most righteous people ever. They even had Noah in their family tree. Enoch's teachings didn't only impact the religion of Christianity, it also impacted religions on the western side of the world. I don't really know much about those religions and how they impacted them. I can do some more research if you want me to. Just comment down below. Enoch's teachings continue to resonate a long time, and people are still influenced by him today. So thank you, Mr. Enoch. Thank you guys for watching. I spent a lot of time on this video, so I would appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, hit the like. If you want to support me, go to my Patreon and just help me out anyway so I can keep making these videos. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side.